release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. I release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. I release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. I release all things that no longer serve me. I release all things that no longer work for me. I release all things that no.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so glad you're here. I am Reverend Patricia VanWoerkom, and I'm your Associate Minister, and I'm actually going to be speaking today. So if you are new, please visit our website at www.saccsl.org. We truly did build this in order to connect with our community and to keep our community connected. So you can find all of our events, classes, workshops, everything. And you can leave prayer requests there. And you can tell your friends about us. And you can also connect into our national organization, actually international organization, and find out more about CSL, the Centers for Spiritual Living in general. We would like to thank our YouTube folks for joining us and being part of us. We just love having you there. All of our services are recorded. So if you want to check back into the archive, so to speak, they're online from our website, www.saccsl.org. Now it's time for our invocation, and I'm going to do it a little differently today. Instead of having our wonderful practitioner of the day, Linda Connolly, do our invocation, we're going to have India Ari and the beautiful chorus sing us our.
And now for our readings. We have within us a power that is greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our life. Ernest Holmes, Creative Mind. If you are not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original. Ken Robinson. And this one by Albert Einstein. Failure is success in progress. We are bound by nothing except belief. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. And now for our opening song.
I messed up tonight. I lost another fight. I still myself, but I'll just start again. I keep falling down. I keep on hitting the ground. But I always get up now to see what's next. Birds don't just fly, they fall down and get up. Nobody learns without getting it wrong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I could fail. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I could fail. Try everything. Try everything. Try everything. Look how far you've come. You filled your heart with love. Maybe you've done enough. Take a deep breath. Don't beat yourself up. No need to run so fast. Sometimes we come last, but we did our best. I won't give up. No, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I could fail. I won't give up. No, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave. I wanna try everything. I wanna try even though I could fail. I'll keep on making those new mistakes. I'll keep on making them every day. Those new mistakes. Try everything. Try everything. Try everything. Try everything.
And yes, we try everything. And today we are trying to do the Sunday service without either our primary technical backup or our backup. So not everything has gone perfectly. Well, I won't say that we have failed, but we didn't do it as quite as perfectly as we wanted. And that's actually a wonderful place to start today's talk, because this month we're exploring work. And this week, it's one of those uncomfortable aspects about being out in the world. It's about failure. In many circumstances, failure is a given. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work." So if you're an inventor or have a strong entrepreneurial leaning or just a way outside of the box thinker, then that kind of persistence and perspective is pretty much required. But did you know that some historians credit Edison as the inventor of the Research and Development Lab, a collaborative team-based model later copied by AT&T at Bell Labs, Xerox, and all R&D centers? He did not work alone. Again, failure, and we all experience failure, is a great teacher on our life journey, our spiritual journey. Whether we're talking about work, this month's focus, or in any area of our life, we are always on a spiritual journey, and failure can be our greatest teacher. What we choose to do with the experience of failure is what is important. The truth about failure is that it does not mean that one's idea is flawed or not valid, or that our dream isn't good enough, or that we're not good enough. Failure means that there is something to be learned, something to be gained, or course correction that's necessary. In short, failure points to possibility. I actually think that failure points to the probability that there is something more, something better ahead. There is just this gap that we need to bridge between the moment when we may be overwhelmed by the experience or the feeling, or being blindsided by an experience of failure. And sometimes filling that gap is a matter of gaining knowledge or skill. And sometimes it's a matter of timing or finding the right support system. And sometimes it's a matter of persistence. And sometimes it's a matter of giving up and looking for something entirely new and different, a new idea, a new perspective, or a new approach. You know that old adage about insanity that's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome? I have been known to strongly resemble that remark. In the past, I've had a very difficult time admitting failure. And my failures have almost always been about people and relationships rather than based on technical aspects or skills. I consider myself, I've always used the phrase loyalty challenged, but I think it may be better to say loyalty addicted, because I have a really hard time letting go of people and situations and ideas. And boy, can I hold on to an idea or a belief into a way that things should be. Any of you have that experience? Yeah, I knew I wasn't alone. In American culture, failure is a dirty word, and there's an emotional response to failure that I really don't like feeling. So I keep trying to make things work, to force them to work. Sound familiar? But I've had to let go. Sometimes it's been a matter of pulling my fingers up one by one to let go. But I've had to do it. Now, the optimal response to failure is called resilience. And resilience is not just an ability to bounce back, but also our capacity to adapt in the face of challenging circumstances. Resilience isn't a personality trait. It's not something that we're born with. It's something that we learn through our experience of failure. One of the worst things we can do to our children or grandchildren is to not allow them to fail. Children fail all the time. They fall down learning how to walk. They fall down climbing trees, or these days, climbing walls or rope courses. We play games and someone always loses, and we learn new strategies through that. We learn to persist because we want to solve the problem or get better and faster at doing something. We start with 5 or 10 piece puzzles and work our way up to 1,000-piece puzzles. We start with T-ball and work our way up through Little League. We shift from soccer to chess club, from playing the flute or the trumpet into dance or theater. We find our talents and native abilities by failing and then trying something else, or becoming more creative at addressing a challenge. We practice, we persist. We learn to make space for creativity and problem solving. I want to say that again. Because of failure, in that gap we need to bridge between, oh, that didn't work, and whatever the failure is, and the next step, we learn to make that space a space of creativity and problem solving. And we thereby become resilient. Resilience, more than anything else, is an attitude towards failure and life challenges. And when I was doing research for this talk, I found several lists of what make up resilience, and I didn't like any of them. So I cherry-picked what I liked, and I created my own list of 6 characteristics that I think reflect resilience. And the first one is to remember you're not alone. Just like Edison had his R&D group, you're not alone. Cherish your social supports and your interactions. Nourish your friendships. What's the old wisdom about pain shared is cut in half and shared joy is doubled? Let friends and family, if they can be trusted, see you and support you. Use them as sounding boards to help analyze and assess and bounce ideas back and forth. Be like Thomas Edison. Create a research and development collaborative. The first time I found myself in a real leadership position, I asked some friends to become what I called my kitchen cabinet. Unlike a president's formal cabinet of advisors, I wanted an informal group that I could go to and know that they both had my back and they would tell me the truth. Bless you, Linda. They would tell me the truth as they saw it. So ask for help before things fall apart. If it's possible, find a mentor. For heaven's sakes, work with a practitioner. Find a therapist. You're not alone unless you choose to be. Second characteristic is express your emotions when you fail, but let go of drama. Run, cry, dance, get the feelings out physically, but ditch the story that paints you as a victim and others as villains. It doesn't do you any good, and it keeps you trapped in that gap. Third, remember, failure, problems, challenges, whatever name you give them, they are all a learning process. So look for the lesson. Look for the gift. It will always be there. Fourth, use wonder. This year's theme is wonder in everyday living. Use wonder as your companion as you negotiate your change in circumstance. Rather than blame and shame, start with assuming that there's something bigger going on in your life. Wonder where this part of your spiritual journey is going to lead you. It may lead you someplace completely different. It may simply be the beginning of a new route to where you were going before. It may be an opportunity to clarify just exactly what it is that you want, what you value, and what your priorities are. Medical challenges, so-called failures of the body, so to speak, are often significantly clarifying life events. Fifth, celebrate your successes. Celebrate victories large and small. Believe in yourself. This builds emotional padding. And along that same line, the last characteristic is nurture a positive view of yourself. We started a foundations class a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that was said in the first class is that we as the instructors are open to anything you want to say, except we do not allow you to talk trash about yourself. That's the one thing that will come in and say something. If you start trashing yourself in class, I just don't want to hear it. One of the students took that to heart. And they had this negative voice that kept coming up, telling them that they couldn't do something and they weren't worth anything. So they decided to name it Chester. And when Chester started talking trash about them, they just now say, Chester, shut up, sit down. I don't want to hear you. You're not here. It's like using your remote to click it off, it's just a voice. And I love that idea of naming that negative voice in us and just saying, shut up and sit down. I don't need you. Okay? Nurture positive views of yourself. I also have two personal stories of failure that I want to share with you. Hopefully, there's something in them that you can connect into. As is very common with young women who have, let's say, an ugly relationship with their fathers, I married someone very much like my father and tried to get him to love me the way I wanted to be loved. If at first you don't succeed, just keep doing the same thing until it drives you or drives them crazy. Didn't work. So after my divorce, I realized I had never seen a healthy relationship up close. Not my parents, not my grandparents, not my older siblings. I needed a new idea, as they say in Science of Mind. So I adopted two older couples. They adopted me. I really can't tell you which at this point. But I hung out with them and I learned and I observed and I learned and I grew. And a couple of years later, I met Doug, my husband. We connected and I kept learning and growing. This past Wednesday, was our 37th wedding anniversary. The failure of my first marriage led me into a lifelong journey of learning to love and to be loved. Because when I couldn't accept love, it's very hard to give it. So my failure was a gift. My second failure, I got fired. I was working as the business manager for a nonprofit that was becoming increasingly dysfunctional. The CEO was not happy and, in my humble opinion, acting out of integrity with the organization's stated goals. So, of course, there were money problems. So there were staffing and workload issues. And the president of the board, again, in my humble opinion, was completely incompetent and more concerned with how things looked than how they actually functioned. And I got grumpier and angrier and more frustrated. And it started to leak out kind of sideways with other board members and volunteers. It culminated in me writing a letter to the board about all the things they were doing wrong. So they had a special board meeting. And it was an executive session because I was secretary to the board. So they had to have an executive session to keep me out. So they're up in the conference room talking and talking and talking, and I'm in the office trying to work. And during one of the breaks, I had a friend on the board, and she came down and she said, and she wasn't supposed to. Remember, this is an executive section, so I'm not supposed to know what's going on. She came down and said, "You won't believe what a certain board member's doing. They want to fire you." And I almost burst into tears of relief. What went through my mind was they heard what I was trying to say when I couldn't hear what I was trying to say. It was time for me to go. I needed to let go and grow, and I couldn't grow there anymore. I'd done everything I needed to do. It was time to fly out of the nest. But I had to be kind of nudged out of that nest. Couldn't let go on my own. Doug and I, we were married by that time, ended up moving to San Jose so I could finish my degree, and then we moved to Sacramento. And it's been an unfolding adventure that I would not trade for anything. Okay? The official title of this talk is Failing Forward. Because while failure is a given, and we all experience failure, our choice is whether we collapse and let our life become smaller, stay inside the box, or do we fail forward? Do we find the gift, the opportunity in the failure, and create an even happier and more fulfilling life? Have you ever considered failure as an opportunity that shows up at just the right moment for you? It can be a chance to reevaluate and come back stronger. Often the next time around, whatever it is I'm trying to do, it's easier to obtain the goal. If the outcome you want or the true intent of your activity isn't clear, fail. It will become clear. You will learn exactly what it is that you really want. So failure is not fatal, no matter how hard it can feel at the time. And it can feel incredibly hard. In conventional Christian and Buddhist terms, this is known as suffering. And no one likes to talk about suffering. Suffering's real. And it'll come to all of us. One of my mentors differentiates between necessary suffering and unnecessary suffering. But regardless, suffering appears to have two primary purposes. From a Buddhist perspective, it's all about attachment. We get attached to outcomes. We get attached to ideas. We get attached to people behaving in certain ways. We get attached to people being there. And then change happens. The world changes. People change. We change. And suddenly, life is not predictable. And the outcomes are not as we want. We fail because we are attached to something old in a changing environment. The old ways do not work. And letting go is difficult. And we suffer until we can let go and move forward. We will continue to attach to people and ideas and outcomes. But as we become experienced and wise, our hold will be less tight, and we will let go and move forward more easily and more gracefully. Especially when we discover that the new really is better than the old. We discover we have more freedom, more strength, and more confidence as we grow, as we fail forward. As far as, let me take a drink here. As far as I can tell, the Christian version of suffering is that it's good for us in the same way meat tenderizer is good for a tough steak. Sometimes meat tenderizer gets sprinkled on top, but mostly it gets pounded in with a hammer that is full of spikes to break up all the connective tissue, which is a good metaphor for attachments. Great outcome, but the process can be harsh. While he's not Christian, one of my favorite Hafiz poems is about a chickpea who thinks the cook is trying to torture him as he gets stirred and smashed in the soup pot until he realizes that the boiling and the spices and the stirring and the smashing are tenderizing and making him flavorful. Okay? Khalil Gibran talks about love kneading us like bread dough so we become flexible and can rise. And I think we suffer the most when our hearts are broken, which is another opportunity to fail forward. Relationships are a critical element of being human, and the more we love, the more likely we are to experience hurt and suffering. I heard a song lyric many years ago that talked about our hearts are broken open in order to let more love in. And I could not find that exact line when I was researching. I found some wonderful quotes. I want to share them because when a relationship ends, it always feels like failure, whether you are the one leaving or the one being left. And it is always an opportunity to fail forward. If we can truly let love have its way with us, if we can live in that painful gap long enough to let love open us. The first quote's from a poet named Andrea Gibson. And she says, when your heart is broken, you plant seeds in the cracks and you pray for rain. Isn't that gorgeous? You plant seeds in the cracks and you pray for rain. And that planting seeds is a statement of trust that you know something better is going to grow from where you are. Writer Shakib Oragunwal says, the human heart is the only thing whose worth increases the more it's broken. Isn't that lovely? Motivational speaker Steve Marboli says, you didn't break my heart. You freed it. I don't know how many people that I've seen and I've been grieved over a failed relationship, not realizing at the time that I was being freed for something better, for something bigger. I had to grow into it, but I was being freed. And the last one is from author Patty Roberts. Every time your heart is broken, a doorway opens to a world full of new beginnings, new opportunities. We can take the time failure gives us to wonder about what could be and then allow it to be so. Failure can be a powerful reason and motivator to move and grow and shift. Failing can highlight the potential in our ongoing search for purpose and passion in our lives. It can lead us to making a larger contribution to society. Failure is frequently life calling us to discover more of our potential. A single instance of failure can teach more than a lifetime of success. Wonder allows us to detach from the outcome and explore the process with greater curiosity and trust as our journey unfolds. As a spiritual practice, Wonder can show you the divine plan behind and within everything. The willingness to fail forward can make life a beautiful, crazy, and exciting journey. You can explore that opening door that Patty Roberts talked about. You can plant seeds and watch them grow and live in that newness and growth. Wonder invites us to positive change. Are you willing to trust and to lean into wonder? That's the big question this year. Wonder is a living everyday experience. Are we ready to lean into and trust wonder? Join with me now in prayer, if you would. In the continuing awareness that life itself is a glorious wonder, the intelligence and sheer creative genius that is the cause and source of galaxies and planetary systems and ecosystems and the miracle of the human body. Infinite love is the movement of life into form. It is that movement of love that created me. I am love made manifest in this incredible wonder of a world. And so are you. So are we all. And as I know this for myself, I now know this for you, if you so choose, that I am open to that movement of love. I am open to being needed flexibility and resilience so that I move through my life loving more and being the gift that love gave to itself when I came into this place, into this life, as a spiritual being having a human experience. As I continue to align my human awareness to the spiritual truth of me, I remember the wholeness from which I came and to which I shall return. I am whole, perfect, and complete just as I am. And yet I continue to grow in awareness and in expression. I give great thanks that this is the truth of life, and I accept the gifts of spirit, the gifts of love. And so it is.
There's a change in the wind, and we send our love to you, like pulsing of stars. Let your heart feel the bright and new love. There's a change in the wind, and we send our love
And now it is our offering time. This is our offering time, and what we are offering is an opportunity for you to take up the spiritual practice of giving out of gratitude and in support of an activity that provides you with spiritual support and nourishment. And it is a way to pay it forward. It is a gift to yourself and to our community so that we can continue to witness and share your spiritual journey and provide the same for others as we grow our community. Now, there are 3 ways that we can give. We can give by going to saccsl.org. We can use PayPal or credit card. And we just look for the donate button on our great website of saccsl.org. Or you can also mail it to the address that is being shown on the screen. And we'd like to thank everyone in our YouTube audience for your so generous offerings. So our abundance affirmation, abiding by the law of circulation and in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that continuously flows in, through, and out as me, expressing as the ever-expanding infinite good. And so it is. Now, please remember you can send our prayer requests to www.saccsl.org. When you submit them on our website, they are forwarded to, and they are on our prayer altars of our ministers and our practitioners for an entire week. It is a great, great offering and resource for you to take care of or to use. And now for our latest news, our announcements. Busy Hands is being hosted. Busy Hands, Warm Hearts is hosted by Reverend Patricia. It's the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month at 9:30.
However, this week we're going to be camping. So if you want to come to Busy Hearts, we're going to be at Sly Park, and you're welcome. But I suspect you're going to want to wait a couple of weeks and join us for the next time.
Okay. Thank you. Now, please remember that we meet in person and on Zoom on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Sundays, and on Zoom the 2nd and 4th Sundays. And we meet at the Citrus Heights Community Center. So please mark that on your calendar. Our auction to benefit. Our Center for Spiritual Living, our Sacramento Center, is in November. It's going to be in our Citrus Heights Community Center. So bring your art, jewelry, crafts, theme, gift baskets, whatever you have to share. So please bring that, offer it, and it's going to be a great time. I loved it.
Oh, it's after Sunday service. Okay, thank you.
And I know that I have a couple of great paintings that were at our first one that actually traveled with me to Canada. So you just never know what you're going to see there to bid on. And so now this is our gift of affirmation for you for the week. I preserve with the strength of spirit within me. Beautiful. And please bring yourself present as we have our closing, our benediction. So as we breathe in this living spirit that is us, that moves us, that breathes us, that is all that is. We take the message from today of leaning forward. Are we willing to lean forward and trust and wonder through every experience that we have in life? Are we willing to, please be willing to take this message and grow with it for the week? Actually, for the rest of the year, forever, just remembering that we lean into each experience and we trust that there is something for us to learn, something for us to grow and release and expand. It's a beautiful practice. And so we're going to anchor it by saying, and so it is. Now, please stay for our closing song following our gathering on Zoom.
Kind friends all gathered round, there's something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain, I've learned to love the wind, been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. But like sunshine on a cloudy day, stand before me now. So give yourself to love, love is what you're after. Open up your heart to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Is born in fire, it's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you are ready, love comes when you're afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. So give yourself to love, love is what you're after. Open up your heart to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Give yourself